Hello there, welcome to the Holiday and Cruise Clinic. I'm Phil Hilton and this is the only programme on television dedicated to answering your holiday, cruise and travel related questions. So if you have a question, a query or a dilemma about going abroad anywhere you like for your holiday, here's how to get in touch with our experts. Our website is www.holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk. It's a great resource. Have a look at it, click on the clinic page and send your questions to us online through the website. You can also email us directly, clinic@holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk, or write to us by post as well to the Holiday and Cruise Channel, Cavendish House, Brighton Road, Liverpool, L22 5NG. Now, you may have seen in the news recently that the pierhead at Liverpool's cruise terminal has finally been approved for turnaround sailings. It means that cruise passengers can now start and end their holiday with impressive views of Liverpool's spectacular waterfront. It's opened up the world of cruising to many people who may have begrudged a journey down south to embark on a cruise. Well, here to tell us more about what Liverpool has to offer is Angie Redhead from the Liverpool Cruise Terminal. Angie, welcome along.
Thank you.
It's good to get the official view of what's been going on compared to what we've heard so much about in the press and media recently. But I'm intrigued to know what a turnaround facility is, first of all.
Well, a turnaround facility enables you to carry out all of the additional operations that permits passengers to embark and disembark. So, for example, customs and immigration facilities, and obviously the space to handle that amount of baggage as well for passengers that are checking in.
So it has grown a little bit since it was just a stop-off point, and you didn't have those facilities, did you, before?
We didn't. We opened the first part of the cruise terminal in 2007, which was specifically to handle day visits. So that's ships that are calling as part of a fixed itinerary around the British Isles, and those passengers would spend the day in the city shopping, sightseeing, and then get back on board and sail away. Now with the turnaround facility, it allows people to actually start and end their holiday in Liverpool.
And what's your involvement with it all, Angela? Have you single-handedly made sure it all happened? Is that how it works?
Not single-handedly. I've led the operation and also been involved in the construction phase. Basically, because I'll be running the place, we need to know that what we're putting in place will do the job at the end of the day. But there's been a huge team of people involved prior to construction in order for us to get all of the right approvals and permissions. And
at what point did you come into the whole environment then, into the whole build? What was it like when you arrived?
Well, it wasn't there when I arrived.
Right.
I was based overseas for many years working for a tour operator. So I've always been in the travel industry, and I set up port operations and so on overseas, and then unbelievably could not understand why Liverpool was building a cruise terminal back in 2005 and were recruiting for a cruise manager. And but I did apply and I got the job, and so I relocated back to Liverpool, my hometown, and was involved in the construction phase then of the cruise terminal, which opened in 2007.
Now, did you think when you were just opening up the terminal for a drop-on and drop-off point that it would ever get to the stage whereby you could start and end your holiday in Liverpool?
I always felt that was potentially where it should go. I absolutely saw the benefit of having a cruise berth in a city centre location, because it means passengers on day visits are going straight into the heart of the city. However, the potential was so much more that there was a demand already there for people who wanted to embark and disembark in Liverpool. There was an existing operation in Langton Dock, which was operated by Peel Ports. So there was already a customer base. But what we were hearing is that people wanted to sail from our brand new facility at Pierhead.
Absolutely. Well, several hundred years of history has been before us to say that that's a good idea.
Absolutely. And, you know, I always say the river runs in the heart and the veins of the people of Liverpool. I think it's something inherent in the people of Liverpool. It's what we've been the best in the world at, and I think that we will be again.
Absolutely. So how difficult a thing did you think it was going to be, or easy perhaps, to make this from a drop on and off embarkation point de-embarkation point to actually a place where you start and end your cruise holiday then?
I knew it was going to be difficult, not maybe for the obvious reasons, but having been involved in operations for many, many years, your requirements really are you need space and you need time to do that type of operation. And there is a good reason why cruise terminals aren't normally built in the heart of a city, because you don't have an awful lot of space. And so the solution that we came up with to be able to do embarkation and disembarkation was always going to be have to be very creative, and we were also going to have to bring in an awful lot of stakeholders within the pierhead area, businesses, etc. And I have to say, everyone involved in this project has been wholly supportive. There is a demand for this to work, but also there is a pride in the fact that Liverpool will be operating turnaround facilities
Absolutely.
again.
I mean, I can't think of any dissenting opinion that I've heard over the time I've been listening to the campaign before you actually started operating, who said, oh, it's not really a good idea, this, is it?
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. And I've been involved in a lot of major projects over the years, and I think it's the first time, as you say, it's just been wholly positive, from media support to practical support to businesses who maybe don't even have a direct benefit from cruise but want to see it happen as well. It's been heartwarming, actually.
I bet it has.
Yeah.
I mean, it was exciting enough to see the ships coming in to drop off people, you know, the Princess Cruises, regular visitors, huge big ships. Everybody says, wow, look at that, isn't it fantastic to see that kind of ship back in the Mersey again. I suppose it started when the QE2 came to Liverpool, wasn't it? You know, and that was one of the times when people were saying, oh, if only some of these big ships could come back to the Mersey again.
Absolutely.
And now we're almost there. You must be really proud of that now.
I'm hugely proud, and I remember clearly the day QE2 came in, because we'd actually only been open 5 days. What a practice run. And to see the crowds, I think there was over 30,000 people at the waterfront, and having been out of the city for a long time, I think it just hit me in one fell swoop just what it means to the people of Liverpool and the surrounding city region, how important it is to see big liners back on the river again. And even now, I've never lost that sense of pride, that on a cold, miserable day at 5 o'clock in the morning, you know, you've got a long day ahead, and I look up to Pierhead and I see hundreds, sometimes thousands of spectators, and I think I've surely got the best job in the world.
Now, you know, folks, there's no such thing as a Scouser who's got something on their mind remaining quiet about it. So how did you drum up support for the campaign to get this thing moving? You know, and obviously there's a lot of other people involved in it apart from you, but how did you keep the momentum going?
The momentum really started with customer demand. It wasn't that we were knocking on a closed door. The demand came from the cruise line and the demand came from the customer, and so we knew that there was a market there, and we started to identify the process that we'd need to take, and that's when we really found that we were coming up against some significant obstacles in terms of the funding agreement that we had originally to build the cruise terminal. And my part really was building momentum, getting businesses to understand the benefit of turnaround as opposed to a day visit, winning some great allies in the media who've been wholly supportive. But I have to say, it's been driven by our new mayor, Joe Anderson, because he really was the catalyst that made it happen. The final steps, engaging with government and presenting our case. And Mayor Joe Anderson had said from the very start he was going to make it happen, and he was as good as his word. We just never realised it was going to happen so quickly. We built the facility that we need to do turnaround in just over 12 weeks, which I think is unprecedented.
Absolutely. It just goes to show you, if people want something badly enough, it'll happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What do you think, in terms of the economic benefit, each cruise ship is bringing when it comes with all its passengers? I'm thinking more of a drop-off, drop-on here one.
Yeah, the economic benefit is huge to the city, and the fact that we are right in the heart of the city obviously makes it more accessible to the passengers, and we are seeing an awful lot that passengers are becoming more independent. They're happy to do their own thing. They're now familiar with the internet and they've done their research. They know they are a stone's throw away from the heart of Liverpool, our World Heritage Site, world-class shopping and restaurants. And part of my role as the cruise manager is to ensure that we facilitate the passenger movement and make it seamless between the ship and the shore side, and engage with businesses to make sure that they maximise the opportunities as well.
Good. Okay, well, let's talk a little bit more about the glamorous side of it in a few moments' time, because I want to know where we can go in a few minutes' time. But we're going to take a quick break for now, Angie. Stay right there. Let me just remind you of our handy cruise guides. Maybe we've whetted your appetite a little bit about travelling from Liverpool or any of our ports around the UK to the high seas, or even getting on a plane and going somewhere a little bit warmer to start your cruise. Well, we've got our first-time guide to cruise holidays and our family guide to cruise holidays as well. They're both available absolutely free of charge. You can have one or both. All you have to do is call 0871 423 4444. Calls will cost you 10p a minute from a BT landline, but calls from other networks and mobiles may of course vary. You can also request copies through our website. It's a good place to look at our resource, find out what we've got for you, what else we're doing. www.holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk. So whilst you're looking around the website, dialing for a copy of our brochures, we'll take a quick break. See you back here in a few minutes' time. Hello there, welcome back to the Holiday and Cruise Clinic. Today we're talking about cruising from the pier head on Liverpool's impressive waterfront. But before we go back to my guest here in the studio, let me just remind you that if you have a holiday, cruise or travel related question for our experts, here's how to get in touch. Our website is www.holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk. Go to the clinic page, click there and send us your questions through the website. You can also email us directly, clinic@holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk, or send us a postcard or a letter via the post. Holiday and Cruise Channel, Cavendish House, Brighton Road, Liverpool, L22 5NG. Yes, your cards and letters are very welcome. Angie Redhead from the Liverpool Cruise Terminal is with me now, and we're talking about this wonderful new facility that Liverpool has. The feedback's been pretty good so far, and you've really only just got going, haven't you?
Yeah, we opened on the 29th of May, so 4 weeks ago, and the feedback so far has just been fantastic, and not just from Liverpool people. We would expect their feedback to be great, but people who've travelled further afield, from Ireland, from the Isle of Man, and from Birmingham and Scotland, who've travelled to Liverpool because of the convenience of the transport networks. It's just great for them, and also the fact that they arrive, their baggage is taken from them as soon as they set foot out of their taxi. They don't see it again until they're in their cabin, and it's all going very, very well indeed.
Good, good. Well, long may that continue. Let's not tempt fate too much. What about where we can go now we can start and end our holiday in Liverpool? What are the options so far?
There's lots of options. There's the main cruise line that are operating this year, Cruise and Maritime, on a ship called Ocean Countess. They've got 12 sailings this year, and next year Ocean Countess will be back, as will Fred Olsen. And there's a number of opportunities, whether it's Portugal, Morocco, Spain, whether it's around the British Isles as far as the Norwegian fjords. So there's plenty of choice and plenty of destinations to choose from, as well as length of cruise to choose from as well, anything from 3 days up to 14 days.
Can we look forward to, next year some different ships, and you know how interested people are about seeing what ships come in and out of the river? Can we see it as an expanding facility, do you think, in years to come? Absolutely.
As far as turnaround is concerned, we know that there is a market for the ship to come to the people as opposed to the people to travel to the ship, and that's what we're going to build on. For ships that are calling day visits, predominantly American passenger liners, every year we have inaugural visits from new cruise lines, and next year Celebrity will be calling for the first time ever to the Mersey, and she'll be here on 4 separate occasions, which is fantastic for us, as well as a cruise ship called The World, which is an interesting one, as they don't have passengers, they have residents who own the apartments on board.
Oh really? Yes, I've heard about that.
Yeah, and it constantly sails around the world, and she'll be alongside for 4 days in Liverpool.
good, good. Glad to see that nobody is missing out, no matter what kind of a holiday or existence you're living in.
Yes, absolutely.
That's good now. What about Liverpool's facility compared to other cruise facilities and departing points and arrival points? How does it differ, if at all?
It differs at the moment. We class ourselves as a temporary facility. What we've put in place at the moment is to deliver the operation for mid-sized vessels, so that we could be up and running as soon as possible. But the long-term plan for Liverpool is that we will build a multifunctional bells and whistles cruise terminal, which will be able to handle some of the largest cruise ships in the world, and that's our plan within the next 3 to 5 years.
Okay, and will you have to invest more money to do that, do you think?
Yeah, we will invest more money. That's already being committed to a certain degree, but on the strength of the fact that we know that there's a market there and that there is a demand for us to be able to handle larger ships.
And presumably larger ships means a greater number of people coming on and off. Is that what you mean when you need to expand the structure so people don't have to queue as long, and make sure your customs and everything are running as not at maximum potential all the time, so people can speedily pass through? Is that what it's all about?
Yeah, absolutely. For us, the customer experience is not just about their cruise. The customer experience starts as soon as they set foot on the cruise terminal site, and we need to be as efficient as we can, and to make that experience as seamless and as enjoyable as we can. And to do that, we need to be able to have a great space for people to enjoy the environment and make the operation work.
Do you think we'll ever get to the stage of possibly having 2 ships arriving on the same day, or is that your ultimate nightmare?
Well, we've had 2 ships on the same day, but they're small ships.
Yeah.
The cruise berth is 350 metres long, and for the size of ship that we handle, most of them exceed 200 metres or so. But we have had 2 ships on the berth, and we've had bizarre combinations like Royal Navy next to a traditional tall sailing ship as well. So we were built specifically to handle cruise ships, Royal Navy ships and exhibition vessels, and we get some very creative requests from people who'd like to use the cruise berth, and we would never turn anybody away.
Okay, so you're their first port of call, so to speak, are they, when they come to ask you about whether they can come or not? Because somebody has to coordinate who's arriving when, don't they?
Absolutely. So the cruise lines contact me directly, and people normally think that there must be a huge contractual agreement in place, and it can sometimes be as informal as a quick phone call to ask if a certain date is available. And so I manage the diary, if you like, of the cruise berth to ensure that we don't ever have a double booking, shall we say.
No pressure there.
No pressure.
Because your diary must be quite interesting with all these ship names in it and what time they're coming, what time they're going.
It is very interesting, and it constantly evolves, because it's all well and good a ship asking if they can come on the 25th of June. At 9 o'clock in the morning and leave at 5 at night, but the Mersey, as you'll know, it's very, very tidal, and there is a bit more of a science behind just being able to block out the day. We need to study the tides, we need to know that that ship can arrive and depart, and we've had lots of ships stay overnight as well. What we've found is that we've actually become quite a safe port in a storm, for want of a better description. The Irish Sea can be not a great place at times, and we've had a lot of ships request to stay overnight and stay in Liverpool in the shelter of the berth.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that, because what happens, and we've seen an example of it recently, when there's bad weather out at sea and you're due to go the next day, do you stay where you are for the time being, or? We would meet with the captain and present a few options, and we would always say if the berth was available that they were more than welcome to stay. And what we would then do is work with the crew on board the ship to say, if the passengers are going to be here for 2 days, what can we put in place for them to have an enjoyable 2 days in Liverpool when they were only expecting to have one. And as you say, very recently that's just happened, and we were able to put on a shuttle bus into the city centre, and tourist information staff were on hand to advise people how to make the best of their extra day in Liverpool. Yeah, a bit of a Brucey bonus that one, really, isn't it? Certainly for Liverpool. What about when you come to take your holiday, you personally I'm talking about now, have you done much cruising in the past? Your experience in travel? I
haven't. I work with ships on the shore side. My husband is Royal Navy for many, many years, and
He's had enough of ships and boats,
Yeah,
has he?
yeah, husband's holiday, I think, yeah, if he were to go on a ship. But I'm happy making sure that the operation works on the shore side.
Perhaps you want to take one of our guys with you for people who are new to cruising. Maybe you can convince him to go, because a lot of people tell me they have such a great time. It would be a shame to miss out if you wanted to go from your new facility. How nice, you know.
I've worked in travel and tourism for many, many years, and I can honestly say the feedback from passengers who take a cruise is absolutely unprecedented compared to any other type of holiday. And it seems to me, once you've been on a cruise, there is no other type of holiday for you.
Yeah, I hear lots about that, and obviously we get lots of your questions here at the Holiday and Cruise Clinic for people who want to ask about what it's like to be a first time. You know, am I going to be seasick? Do I have to wear my shirt and tie all the time?
Yes.
You know, and it's interesting, and the growth of the cruise industry is phenomenal over the past couple of years. So I'm sure you're thinking, long may that continue.
Yeah, long may that continue. And it really is the growth over the last 5 years that I've been studying is absolutely through the roof, and it's not showing any sign of decline. In fact, the UK market, the interest of UK passengers to go on UK ships around British Isles has even increased as well. So it's not just about the destination. A lot of the time it's about the ship.
Absolutely. Well, just before you go, quick message to anybody thinking of using the Liverpool Cruise Terminal. What would your message be to them?
I would say that what we offer is a very friendly welcome. All of my team, all Liverpool people, we aim to be friendly, we aim to be efficient. The feedback from passengers is they cannot believe half an hour early they were maybe at their own front door, and we look forward to greeting many, many more passengers and ships at Liverpool Pierhead.
Brilliant, Angie. Thank you for telling us about Liverpool's wonderful new facility. And let me just remind you about our 2 handy guides I mentioned briefly then. Cruise holidays, if you're family or you're on your own or new to cruising, questions you'll just find the answers for all inside here. 0871 423 4444. Calls will cost you 10p a minute from a BT landline, and calls from other networks as usual, and mobiles may vary. You can also request copies through our website at www.holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk. Well, that's all we have time for on today's edition of the Holiday and Cruise Clinic. My thanks again to Angie Redhead from the Liverpool Cruise Terminal. Most of all, thanks to you for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Goodbye.